Guys, it should not be that hard this game if we play with brain. We're missing one thing, one crucial thing.
The brain.
The developed frontal lobe, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm moving.
We win this fight, we win this fight. Yeah, ulti.
Wait for me, wait.
One.
Yeah, no flash here, no flash here, no flash here.
Look at us here.
I kill him.
Yeah.
Okay,
See no flash, I'm coming, I can follow guys.
Nice, I got him. You kill him.
Kill the Poppy.
Yeah,
You
no
do.
flash copy.
You get the kill.
Nice.
Big boys.
We kill! Holy f***!
Holy f***, they couldn't do anything with this
Holy
shit.
f***, we're the mega goats!
Get completely actually.
And welcome back to the desk after our match of the week and Fnatic styling on KC here. Honestly, very one-sided game. Mickey, thank you for joining us. Congrats.
Thank you.
Any first impressions on this game? Stomp and a half.
Pretty smooth.
Pretty smooth.
Pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice. I mean,
That's an understatement. I haven't seen, a team consistently get these huge goal leads and also transition smoothly from early to, just taking over and stomping mid and late game. I feel like already by minute 18 or so, you guys had 10k goal lead or something, taking tier 2 super early in the game. And that's not a side that we see from Fnatic often. So what did you do for them?
I think people are like holding their breath when something happens. Like at some point they're gonna throw. But when you look at these early plays actually from Razork,
Razork was nice flash Q.
it feels like it sets you guys on the right track.
Yeah, and Human was also playing really well mid. He was like avoiding all their ganks and like outplaying them hard. So
That's something new.
yeah, usually he dies level 3 ganks. This
Oh my
time
god.
he turned it around. And then we just kind of picked him off, and our comp kind of works in a very simple way. We just press R one guy, we one-shot that guy, and then
Yeah, the mechanics of Vi.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
mean, my question is, when will you guys play something else than Vi? Because this champion is a little bit too OP. Like, come on, man.
So far we're just
open,
playing
yeah.
like press R champs, like Maokai.
Easy to
Not sure what's
execute.
next. I mean, it's quite easy, and then also
Yeah.
they're quite strong. So I guess when people start banning it, then we have to play something else, or I guess in Fearless, which, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you hyped
it's a
about
different
that?
Scenario.
I'm very hyped about Fearless, yeah. I think it's kind of like the same meta for like the last 3 weeks, so I'm looking forward to playing something new, especially for myself, because I like playing new stuff. And yeah, I think we can experiment a lot more. We haven't actually tried much of Fearless in scrims, but I think it should be very fun.
And talking about experimenting, I have a little fight here that you guys are most definitely experimenting. If we can bring it up, it was the grab fight where you guys aced them.
yeah.
But I feel like this is the perfect example of an experiment, because right now I want you to tell me what your comms are here, and what is this guy that is running to the mid lane telling you guys? What is his timer before he gets to this fight?
I mean, yeah, he's kind of telling us to like wait for him to get there. And
he's
we
telling
were also saying like we don't actually have to fight because they kind of just already TP'd. They already used their TP.
So you're saying that you would expect maybe like 15-20 seconds before he arrives here, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I don't know, because now you guys are gonna fight. You're gonna do a great job at fighting 4v5 and everything, but
yeah, like we were kind of like saying to like play slow, and then Mark was like, "Oh, I can chunk them anyway." So this is more like a chunk kind of thing. And then here I'm also going for a chunk. So and then Leona goes in kind of alone, like because everyone else got CC'd. And
but
then
now
we just kinda play.
now it looks kind of grim, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I'm just letting you know that your ADC is farming that midway.
No way.
I mean, he's still farming that midway.
Can we go there?
I can't go
Can
there.
you
I'm
zoom in
sorry,
on him?
But right now, because now is when the replay says, "Oh, you guys are winning this fight," but so far you guys are sweating for your lives, and Upset got plus 6 CS, and now he's saying, "Oh, we're winning now this fight." You guys are still 4v5. Ambessa finds a clutch ult, but I wanted to know your thoughts over all of this.
I mean, it felt like the fight was kind of winnable 4v5 regardless, because they used a lot of cooldowns on the Ambessa. So as long as we played, we still had like Ambessa ult in the end there. So it felt like even without Kai'Sa, we were kind of in a good situation. So I mean, Kai'Sa joined because it was mega free, but
Otherwise, you would be pushing one more wave over there.
Pushing one more, yeah. But he wanted the triple kill, so there we go.
I mean, it did min-max. She got fed. She carried the game.
It was actually the most efficient play.
Yeah, you guys are geniuses about the game. That was some experimenting to the max.
I was micromanaging everyone. So.
Were you the puppets master, Mickey? But also managing your former teammate. I feel you exchanged some tweets with Czajek yesterday. How was it playing against him?
Oh, it was very fun.
And staying in his mind,
Like, did you see the dragon fight? This guy wanted my autograph for sure. It was crazy. Like we were just like looking at each other for like 5 seconds, then he just like flash WEQ, and then they just lost the fight. It was impressive. But no, it's very fun playing against both G2 and Czajek now. It's always,
I mean,
whenever you play against ex teammates, it's like always like a bit more personal, so it's more hype. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Especially when you're winning, I guess.
Yeah, I guess when you win.
Yeah. Your jungler was the Kia player of the game here. Again, a lot of Vi action, pressing R and everything, but I know you've talked a lot about the relationship you have with your teammates and how good of a synergy you have. Jungle support has been crucial in this split so far and in League of Legends in general. So tell me about playing with Razork. How do you complement each other that well?
I mean, I think with Razork, he's just like very good instinctively. Like usually he plays situations out very well and knows where to be, like especially early game. Like he finds these angles, like for example on the Ezreal. Like I wasn't sure if we could actually kill him, but after, yeah, he kind of played it pixel perfect. So it was easy. I guess the struggles with Razork currently are like sometimes he goes too ham. Like yesterday the Maokai game, he was just like,
you know what it is.
He was very adamant about having to kill their backline even though no one can follow up.
Yeah.
So sometimes he goes a little bit too ham, which is like something that I'm also known as.
Yeah, it takes one to know one.
But I kind of like I mellow down a little bit. Like I mean, I'm the one that tells like chill, you know.
I mean, right now, if you, I guess maybe in G2 you're missing this, so where you have someone who's inting more than you, and now you can just be in the passenger seat and just watch someone else in for you.
What are you thinking here? There's no way this is a good engage.
Closing thoughts on Fnatic. Vedius was tweeting: "Is this the final form of Fnatic? The Fnatic that we were promised? Is it, Mickey?"
I mean, I personally think we're not that great, so I think we still have a long way to go to actually be insane, like especially internationally, to do some damage. But I mean, currently, I think every other team is quite bad, so that makes us look like insane. That's nice. So yeah, I wouldn't mind winning a split if everyone else is just like keep staying bad. But right now, I think we're probably the best, in that regard.
The rest of the league making Fnatic look good here. Mickey, thank you so much for the interview.
Cheers.
And congrats on winning match
Not
of
an
the
interview, it's actually Dusk.
Well, it's whatever I want it to be, Odo. Casters, take it away. Team Heretics Vitality.
Thank you very much, desk, interview, team, whatever you guys want to call yourself. I like the absolute negative angle that we can rely on any pro player to bring.
I mean,
pro players are never good. Everyone else is always bad. That's what we.
That's how it feels playing League, to be honest. I mean, you're okay. All your teammates are worse. Enemies kind of worse every game. So.
I don't know how healthy of a perspective that is. I don't know if that's setting you up for success in the mental health department. But hey, the performance working out for Fnatic, and now we'll see whose performance works out better as we head into our fourth game of the day. Team Heretics versus Vitality. Both of these teams kind of scraping into playoffs thus far. Some incredibly shaky games from both lineups, some incredible comebacks from Team Heretics. And some sloppy performances from their opponents. But I think both teams now need to look ahead towards the future. You've secured your spot. How much can you improve before we see you in the best of threes? What can you show us in this game?
Yeah, and I think for Carlsen and Kamiloo especially, you guys, and Stend, all of them are coming into the league for the first time. I'm not just happy getting playoffs. I want to show a lot more. I want to show something in these last few weeks that kind of makes it so that I deserve to go to playoffs rather than SK and Rogue gave me playoffs. I think that's a really important distinction that you make, mostly just for yourself and your own confidence, that like you deserve to be here and you're here to play.
And we'll see what they define as success when we get to talk to them. We'll see how deep of a run both these teams can make, where they can go, how much they can evolve coming into Fearless. Obviously uncharted territory for every team. But for now, still best of one, still 25.S1.2. Always love saying that. And some interesting bans, Vi taken away, as well as the Cassante. I like to see it.
Ban. Yeah, I was going to talk about it. It's been a really pivotal champ for Carlsen. The champ he's looked the best on, and I think in nearly all of their wins, they've had Cassante, and I think in all of their losses, they've had Cassante banned against them.
Flakked, though, getting the early Varus, a standard kind of early priority, but I will say some of Flacked's best games have been on the Varus, so kind of a one-man wrecking crew, setting up team fights with the ulti, dealing damage as necessary. Be interesting to see Vitality early prioritize the Zyra. Obviously a strong pick. Do they pair it with, I was going to say AD mid laner. There's the instant Corki lock-in.
Yeah, it's the Zyra Corki, and I'm assuming maybe a Yone on 3, as that's usually the best support pairing with Zyra, as you get that, what's it called? Like, you don't need to commit, engage.
Yeah, non-committal.
Non-committal engage. There you go. Beautiful, yeah. Oh, and the Diana answer. That was something we experimented with last year to mixed success, but the idea is that you can always engage on the Zyra and you can match her clear speed. It looks like they're not going to go for it if they pick an AP mid, but it is a real answer.
Don't give
if they lock in an AD mid now, it could be a Diana second phase.
Okay. I like that you're setting the
Or they just go Diana on 3 here. They might.
Okay.
Because it is a real pick. If they go Smolder, they might go Diana Sacrifice.
Okay, all right. I think they might be, maybe they're trying to bait a ban. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt since you did actually practice this with more or less most of these players.
I can keep talking about the idea then.
Yeah.
So the idea is you match the clear speed of Zyra. She infamously has like one of the fastest clear speeds in the game, and Diana is also very fast. But whenever you find the Zyra as Diana, you can always dash on her and win.
And are you gonna like how are you gonna give Twitch chat their time back if Diana's not picked and they just listen to all this Diana rambling?
I mean, life is full of hypotheticals. It is what it is.
All right, Ambessa, the final lock in here from the side of Vitality. Universally just feels like a super strong champ.
Yeah, that
with
champ's
Cassante off the board, reliable blind pick, and in general, a good tool to limit how impactful the Varus can be, and Smolder as well, not a champion who ever wants to come face to face. So decent options, now banning away the Renekton, some of the conventional laning options. Where are they going to go with the comp on both sides is my big question. The support, AD bot lane matchup is going to be big. We saw Carzzy and Hylissang do really well yesterday. Despite some, questionable mid to late game moments, early game, they were absolutely in control.
Yeah, we have to remember that this Corki could potentially be a flex alongside this Ambessa. It could be like Corki bot, Ambessa mid, if they want to cook. Or it could just be Corki mid, Ambessa top. They do have some options here, so curious to see where they take this bot lane out. And I'm curious to see like where does Carlsen go here. I'm kind of happy that they banned the Renekton for Team Heretics side, because I think Renekton is really bad into both the Corki and Zyra, even though it has a good matchup into Ambessa. I think a tank or something that provides some engage to actually pressure this long-range comp that Vitality's built so far would be really good for Heretics.
I'm nervous in the early lane phase for Kamiloo, though, because last time he played this matchup into Nuke,
he was struggling.
It was horrible. He was having a miserable time. He was at 1 HP the entire laning phase. I mean, if they take this mid, it's really tough. Don't get me wrong. I imagine he's stepped up. He's gotten more proficient in the matchup. Maybe there won't be a mana immune, although builds, we talk about when we get there. But still, this is a tough mid lane matchup if it is where Vitality are going to place the Corki.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw this matchup being played before, and it looked a lot closer. So I think he probably kind of studied that a little bit, and he saw that no, Smolder should not get completely destroyed by Corki at all stages of the game. Good to know. Now I'll play the matchup better.
There's so much to unpack in that scene. Most of it is flames.
Okay, so Diana is up. They might
calm
go
down.
for it.
Well, if they go for it, we'll talk about it. I get it. You're really excited about the Diana.
It's going to be the Taliyah instead, actually.
So this raises the question. Where's the Taliyah going?
Jungle.
Jungle? Okay.
Yeah,
I was just saying, we've seen top Smolder.
Yeah, but in Ambessa, I don't think it can lane. No.
I don't think it can either, but sometimes you got to get weird with it.
Jayce?
Okay.
I think they're trying to kind of match the long range of Vitality, while I would have liked to see them pivot on the second phase for more engage. But I can see the range working out. They do have a pretty solid composition here with Varus, Jayce, Smolder, and Taliyah, but they're also very squishy, and it's a Yone for Czajek here in the mid lane.
And I gotta say, I like the Yone coming in. Obviously, Corki pretty strong early on in the game. The Rakan for Hylissang, notorious flank finder, fantastic engage player. Sent it a good day yesterday, but we'll see if Hylissang can kind of outmatch in terms of team fight overall. And it feels like a situation where the Vitality composition, kind of like what we saw from Fnatic last game, although maybe less reliable, very clear goals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on this team who really want to go in. Corki, Zyra may be the exception. Team Heretics, it's kind of all about whether or not they can keep them away, keep them at arm's reach.
Yeah. I think this Taliyah pick is really good at kind of denying some of that engage from Vitality, and I like Czajek picking Yone here. I think it's not the best matchup into Smolder, as usually Smolder was kind of picked into the Yone with the Grasp of the Undying, and the fact that you can just stack on him. But Yone works really well at setting up the Rakan and the Ambessa and following them in, so you have this more cohesive game plan of just diving onto them. And I'm always a big fan of kind of sacrificing a little bit of lane for a better team composition.
I think when you see teams that are often, both these teams, long average game time, right? They are going late in so many of their games. And a lot of Team Heretics wins are kind of crawling back wins from those deficits, from difficult early games. So having the tools to do so, maybe not where they'd like to be in terms of overall, map play proficiency, but good to have that ace up your sleeve or to have that skill in your back pocket that you can come out on top, that you can outscale if you need to. Both teams, again, have secured playoffs. We'll see who will reign supreme in this matchup. Team Heretics versus Vitality. Woo!
And it's going to be Grasp on the Smolder here, which is typical when you lane into melee mid laners, as you can just proc it quite consistently, even though it's been nerfed for ranged. And I'd assume that maybe he then also decides to go a bit of a tankier build on the Smolder with Spear of Shojin. I would like to see him go Infinity Edge, as that's kind of half the reason they're playing the champions, as it got buffed, that interaction.
Sometimes it's just it's a mental thing, though. Sometimes you just see a champion get a buff that doesn't actually matter, and it's enough to make you try it, and then you realize maybe it was good all along.
That's fair. He doesn't have any mana in runes. We saw his rune flash up there, and he doesn't have mana flow, which makes me think that he's for sure going to go Essence Reaver, and I hope no mana immune, but we'll see what he cooks. No,
Could just go tier early. Obviously not an ideal way to spend your gold, but the thing that you highlighted, right? You have the grasp, Yone, a melee champion. You get a lot of stacks for free in this laning phase, as long as you don't lose too much health once he gets past that level 3 point and start to trade a bit more.
It looks like we're gonna have standard lanes once again here. Wow. And
I feel blessed.
Yeah, it feels good to watch Legal Enders how it's meant to be played, huh?
Yeah.
The good old-fashioned way. 2v2.
I don't know what you're talking about. The old-fashioned way is 80 carry mid, 2 random champions bot lane, and then some gobbledygook on the rest of the map, because like only 2 champions could jungle. Where's my Morgana Scion bot lane, Jack, huh?
Sorry, but Team Heretics bot lane did something very strange here. They really wanted to look for cheese on Czajek, so they're very late to bot lane, which means they'll probably have to concede the push. It's going to be the lethality Varus here, so they're really embracing this full range poke comp that I think is quite difficult to pull off.
The thing is, if you can poke the Zyra, who would, really look like your priority target here, you're gonna feel great.
Yeah.
Zyra doesn't have the healing. You can poke her out. She can't come to the fight. Everyone else has mobility. Hard to lock down. Hard to hit. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and it's a comp that if you fall behind, it just becomes so incredibly hard to get back in the game, as you don't really have any consistent tools other than the Rell Flash Engage to create picks. So it's a bit of an, not cocky, I would say, but a harder draft to pull off. But they do have strong winning lanes. So we'll see how they can leverage that and maybe try to get a jungle lead or some early game fist fighting to utilize these strong lanes.
Czajek for now pretty comfortable in the mid lane matchup. Is taking a lot of poke here. Trying to aggressive on Kamiloo, who does have to be careful. Doran's sustain very strong, although is just now popping his bot to match Czajek.
I think already this is a better lane than Kamiloo had last time on Smolder.
Yeah, but he's not playing against Corki, my guy. He can't. I think this is a decent situation. I think a bit cocky, I would say, from Czajek to opt for this matchup. But if he manages to make it through this lane phase unscathed,
this is part of the strength of Zyra. You see Taliyah still doing blue buff, but Zyra finishes her clear so much faster that she can usually look for some type of action before the enemy junglers actually finish their clear. Although Kamiloo respects it well, so it doesn't amount into anything, and it's going to just be crab for crab trade on both junglers.
I think important that Kamiloo kind of stays calm, right? Can't let solo kills go to his head too quickly here. It's still a tough matchup. You still cannot afford to give Yone a kill. Early item spikes for this champion can be devastating. His job is to scale in this composition.
Yeah.
Find something extra, great, but you don't need to overplay your hand.
And I think Czajek is very happy with this early laning phase. 1 CS lead and overall very equal. It's really nice when you're playing this melee champion into the range. And you can see he's just slowly out-sustaining with the second wind and the D-shield. And I think it just kind of gets harder and harder until Kamiloo gets his first reset.
Carlsen for now also winning out on the top lane matchup, which is going to feel pretty good for Team Heretics. Once Nako has, a few more levels under his belt, a few more points in Q, plus the ulti and the Omni, or the healing that comes with it, lane phase might shift a bit.
I thought something would happen, but he just used heal, and then kind of nothing happened.
Sometimes you gotta let him know.
Fair enough. Although, to be fair, Zyra's on top side here and Taliyah's on bot side. So Carlsen has to be careful, and Vitality bot lane. Oh! Carlsen gets a really good chunk.
This is big for Nako.
Taliyah's looking to pressure bot here.
Both have a biscuit. Carlsen's going to get the wave, and I expect will just recall.
Yeah.
Does not want to stick around. Obviously, in the short trades, Nako can do a lot of work.
And this is actually feels really bad for Taliyah here. Oh, she gets spotted out. And look at where Zyra is. Zyra has already recalled and is about to start clearing her camps. And Taliyah is so delayed. Hylissang doesn't quite get the cancel onto Taliyah there, but it's still quite good enough. And I think this could be a free Drake for Vitality here.
Question mark pings coming out from the side of Team Heretics all around the bottom side of the map. They know Zyra is there. They're just not quite sure where. So first base does go to the side of Team Heretics, which is good, but as you highlighted, Lyncas clearing pretty damn fast.
Yeah, I think they're probably not going to go for the Drakes. They'd rather play for the Grubs. So he's going to run all the way to top side now. There's Raptors into the Grub spawn, I'd assume. And there's actually going to be a swap here. But Heretics does not expect it. Carlsen is already TPing top. Might just be a Drake for Grubs trade for Heretics. Or Flakked could choose to push this bot wave and then move all the way. And that looks like what they're deciding to do.
Big debate in terms of what they want to do. Nako has crested the level 6 point, so should be fine
Lyncas
staying
could be
bot
caught.
lane.
I thought Stend would flash Q there and just send it, but
Shattering Strike doesn't hit, doesn't want to overcommit. Might get a flash, but probably you die in the exchange.
Flakked is mid. They're all here now.
Team Heretics responding to the play laid down by Vitality, but it does mean they're a little bit behind. Bot wave is going to need to be answered, and no one's in a position to do so. About 300 gold set to be deleted if Team Heretics do not get these grubs.
Vitality already got one. I think they're happy. Ambessa is getting to hit this bot tower, getting to deny waves. And overall, I think this macro from... She got the second one.
The plants did it!
Oh my goodness.
That's bad.
That feels really bad
The
for Team
price of
Heretics.
admission for one grub was about 300 gold, about 500 gold now. As Ambessa gets a plate, that's a terrible deal.
She gets 2 plates on bot and denies like 2.5 waves. That is... Feels really bad for Heretics.
Also, Kamiloo's now in trouble. Waiting for Q3 to reset here. He's going to be fine.
Czajek is looking really good in this mid matchup. Ooh! I just completely...
Okay, might not matter. He might be able to heal. Mom called in. Heals him up. He'll be fine.
I just completely...
Ulti now going in. There's really nowhere Sheo can go. That is not where you want to be. Q2 from Nako to secure the kill.
And a really creative play from Nako here. He walks around after he crashes the wave and looks for this cheese onto Sheo. We kind of jinxed the Yone, but he still is really hard winning and chilling.
Quite get the montage. Carlsen walking in. He's going to eat a good amount of damage.
It's really smart by Carlsen there to avoid Lyncas being able to take this red buff.
Wrapping back around. Isn't going to get any more support at this point. Carzzy trying to get aggressive. Both supports trading CC, but it's Flakked who will flash away. I think a bit premature there.
Yeah, I think when Carzzy doesn't flash the Rell W, you can get away with actually holding onto the flash, but he wants to be better safe than sorry. But overall, both bot and top is starting to look, and mid lane to be honest, is starting to look hard for Team Heretics.
Yeah, the scaling insurance is nice to have, but the fact that Yone is winning in gold, not something you want to see. He got to go back by Boots 2 for free. Didn't have to do anything Tabbies related. He wasn't suffering. Gets to get Berserkers, which feels fantastic if you ever played either of those champions.
Yeah, and now this grub play just made it so that kind of their one winning lane, which was Carlsen into Nako, is actually losing, as he just got such a big gold lead from it, and he got the kill onto Sheo. I think this is looking like a game now where Lyncas can go to a lot of lanes and impact things, while Sheo really wants to mismatch and try to find numbers advantage fights, because I think equal numbers, they're starting to get stronger everywhere for Vitality.
I mean, look at the gold at the bottom of your screen. Every single advantage in Vitality's favor. The Hylissang one, you know, fake, but the number still points his direction, so I'll give him credit.
92 gold.
That's a control ward, my guy. Now it's less. No longer a control ward. Kamiloo gets a bit more up in the lane as Nako, unsurprisingly, past level 6, past level 7, 4 points in the queue. You're able to just trade so much more easily with Jayce and Sheo. Now needs to be careful. That was not what he wanted. Locked up. Lyncas there to follow. Czajek with the Q3 ready to go. Kamiloo going to be locked up as well. Hilly not going to keep things going, but they get the flash too.
Wow. Really just good punish there for Hilly. You see Sheo, as soon as he sees the Rakan ult, he starts channeling his own Taliyah ult, but it's too little too late, and Hilly just collapses. Really nicely done.
And this is something we mentioned in Champ Select, although the lanes are maybe going better than we initially expected, which is ease of execution. So many tools to just start a fight when you want to start a fight. And while for the first few weeks, it did look like range was always superior.
Did it?
Well, it was the theory. That's what a lot of people
It was the theory. I feel like in practice it
didn't
really look
I'm
like
just saying, we saw SK earlier today with an Ornn and a
my goodness, is
Wukong,
Kamiloo
and that
dead?
looked good. Kamiloo is
Kamiloo's
dead.
dead.
He back. He's fine. One more tower shot. Burning health, but it's okay.
You calculated that? You said he's fine.
I play a lot of Yone, and I know that Taliyah autos don't do a lot of damage. So.
I don't play Yone, and I know he's broken. So.
Yeah. You know what's insane?
He did a little shake.
Oh,
he's shaking right in front.
Carzzy.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, someone
Flakked, you gonna let him do it like that then?
Someone get the super hot fire meme, like everyone just collapsing.
He just shaked right in front of him.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's kind of a metaphor for this game.
Yeah,
I thought you just shaking it.
they definitely are. But if any team can throw a lead,
Why do you have to say that?
that's pretty ruthless.
You could say instead, but if any team knows how to come back, it's Team Heretics.
That's fair. I don't know. Is that what I sound like? Is that what you think I sound like?
No, that's how a real play-by-play caster sounds like.
Who were you trying to imitate?
I don't know.
Why are you attacking me now? I guess fair. You know what? I threw shade at Vitality. I deserve some shade of my own. You're balancing the scales. That's respectable. Again, looking at this game, 3 kills to 0. Vitality are able to get 4 grubs. No tower has fallen, but they're holding on to gold leads everywhere that matters. Really only in the jungle are things close, but the item completions actually matched as well now.
One crucial thing there was that since Heretics managed to grab 1 grub off the second spawn as well, Vitality doesn't get any for the 3 objectives that they need.
Yep.
So they're still quite far off from the feats. But they do have the first 3 kills.
Yeah, bot tower. 2 plates taken away. About to be 3. But I really don't think this is a great avenue of attack. Sheo's around ulti, the Weaver's wall, just a few seconds off of cooldown. Stend now trying to cover. I like the bait angle, full committing combo. Mom called in, Czajek locked up. That was excellent. Good spot, good call out from Stend, knowing how aggressive Czajek was playing.
And for me, Stend has really been the life of this team. His Rell consistently, I think he's found really good windows. And so many of the comebacks that Heretics has managed to get has been on the back of Stend's engages. Yeah. And he shows the decisiveness and just the willingness to go in. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think this is something that shined as well in the game yesterday, as back and forth, as messy as that game kind of was. Stend was consistently that engaged threat, the person starting these plays. And it is just a small pick, but anything you do to buy time for the Smolder feels good. Kamiloo's crossed the 125 threshold. He gets more of the fireballs. He's going to be able to sack faster now. This is where the rate of sacking increases pretty significantly. And if he can get to 225, the champions on Vitality are pretty squishy, can be vulnerable to the Smolders. Team Heretics just need time and space. Now, a lot of time, to be fair.
I mean, I think it's important to note that while Heretics lanes have looked pretty shaky and have been struggling, it's a very small gold lead per player. All it takes is 1 or 2 kills on mid, bot, or top, and they are ahead in gold. So if they get a few more picks like that, I think they can easily come back in this game. And this is the first Drake taken at 13 minutes, so Soul is not really something that you're worrying about. And whenever you have a Smolder in the game, and Drake is taken really late, he's really happy.
Yeah.
Because that means that his family is doing
What? It's wild. To be fair, after you were done, I was going to say it's 1-to-1 in Drake's.
I think mine was better.
Yours was better. All right, yeah, we'll see if we get the full family reunion.
The grave or what?
I'm being quiet, audiences, because I'm giving him a disapproving. Imagine your father looking at you disappointed. That's the look that I'm giving Jackspectra right now.
You're my father?
No, I was just, it's a comparable look.
Okay.
So let's not go down that route. This is a little too Freudian, I think, for a cast.
Fair enough.
Right now, however, we'll check back in on the game state. I'll read the scoreboard, a classic play-by-play trick when you're trying to refocus on what's in front of you. It's a decent gold lead, as you highlighted. Not that big between individual members. Item completions, always more important than the gold difference. The big one, of course, that Jayce still has not completed that first item, while there is the Eclipse for Nako.
Flakked could be caught here if Lyncas decides to commit to this, but it's just going to be a few hits here on the mid tower as they're just trying to buy time here for Carzzy to hit it. It's already half HP on this tower. These 4 grubs are doing work.
They just need to break one of these towers and they get the feats as well.
Love feats, don't you?
What are you doing? You're unchained. It was so bad they paused the game. It's going to say at the bottom of the screen, Jackspectra's getting weird with it. Mark my words. It's a pause. We'll keep you guys updated. The bottom of the screen will not say Jackspectra's getting weird with it. It'll say the official reason for the pause, which is that a pause has been reported and league officials are investigating. It'll update as we go through. But a relatively tame game. Slow, grindy, less explosive than you'd expect from Vitality normally, but certainly some explosive moments.
Yeah, I think it's... I would kind of like to see Vitality play more like this, because I feel like most of their losses come from being a bit over-eager. They remind me a little bit of Fnatic last year. Just they want to fight everything, everywhere, and it's good in the early game because as long as you play it well, you'll get a good lead, as they've gotten in many games. But there is a time and a place where you have to sit back and say, you know, if we do nothing, we're winning.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Just chill. It's a tough mindset, I think, for a lot of people to get into. The pressure to make plays. We saw that from a lot of teams, right? No shade to Ice, of course, from BDS, but you could see that pressure in the poke game he played. He flashed towards his Varus because he feels like he needs to be the one to make the play, and there's been a lot of instances like that. As there's some love happening in the crowd.
I didn't see.
A man dressed as a Poro, air kissing or actually kissing his friends. It's a wholesome moment. And he said, yeah, okay, we're going to go with whichever of those ones. The homies, welcome. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I know you're all here to support respective teams. Appreciate you all, whether it's KC, Fnatic, G2, Team Heretics, Vitality, whoever you're here to see. We're excited to have you. And Team Vitality, everyone's initiated, they're ready to resume. So we will get back into game.
Nice.
Shortly, maybe?
Pretty fast.
Was I over-eager? No, I wasn't. Yes, here we are. A play potentially about to be made. Nako versus Baby Dragon.
Kamiloo could get dove here. He does have the...
Ooh, this is tough. Ulti, bit of poke, the slow, some additional healing. It makes sense. Would have liked to use it. Obviously doesn't do anything to the wave anymore.
Yeah. And, oh, Hilly.
Going, trying to stop the Q from going through, cancels the Q so the wave can't get deleted. Now they can just step back and take the tower, and they get away from the ulti too, but Czajek in trouble. Ult's out. Well timed, well buffered.
There are fights happening all over the map.
But the tower's gone. They just lost bot tower and mid tower. Team Heretics will get one back at the very least. But that should be the feats. We might have borked it when we went to the pause, I'm not sure. That's 3 kills.
Yeah, that should definitely be the feats of strength, but on the HUD it doesn't show the...
We'll figure it out. For now, they have all the prerequisites. Mayhaps we've borked it.
No, I mean, I'm sure it's just a bug for us. It must be a visual bug.
Yeah, reasonably confident.
It would be really weird if they didn't.
They want more. They're actually just still really offended about your joke. They just really don't want to encourage
They're just
that.
not going to give
No
them
one will be getting feats of strength this game. Jackspectra needs to calm down. Here we are.
Didn't know it was such a sensitive topic.
You be... Never mind. I'm sorry, but I'm not... No. The problem is, when we goof off, I get in trouble because I've been here for a million years and you're new, so they'll blame me. So I can't go too far.
Fair enough.
Don't be a bad influence. Herald. Next objective. I don't know what they're going to do.
Carzzy is kind of chovying. Really high CS numbers on him.
It's
170 at 16 minutes. Wow.
I mean, it's tough for Flakked too. Like, look at the CS difference, right? This is brutal.
And it feels really bad as well because you're picking this Varus not to scale. You're picking it as a strong answer into the Corki.
Yeah, it's also supposed to just be free mid prime. That's why you go lethality Varus. I mean, the Q poke, yes, but you just Q a wave and it's gone. But when walking up costs you this much health.
Oh, really?
Hylissang caught out. Badlands back to safety. Now they've been caught out. It was a bait all along. Stend in trouble. Another kill for Vitality.
And Heretics looks so disjointed here. Flakked doesn't ulti onto the CC chain, or rather Sheo pushes Hilly out of this Varus ult, so they don't actually CC chain him, and he gets out, and then they still want to go for more ult.
Ulti! Public execution, living up to its name. Mom called in, will not save him.
Sheo?
He has been tried as an adult, Jackspectra.
What?
It's a really bad joke, actually. I don't want to explain it because it's kind of dark if I get into it too much. But
well, you can see here on the replay, it looks like a really good pick on Hilly, but look at Flakked's ulti. It barely misses because Sheo pushes him out, and then they keep walking forward. Lyncas does a really good Zyra E to lock them up, and it's just, it screams desperation for me that even after they don't land the CC, they keep clicking forward.
And it's not getting any easier because, again, the side lanes here are going to be a nightmare. No one can match the Yone or Ambessa.
And this is a decisive, confident Vitality that I've been wanting to see, and I'm really happy that we get to see it today.
Something we needed to see, right?
Yeah.
This is a team that had some really messy losses.
Yeah.
And there was some games where Hylissang really went from being like a guy who was trying to do too much to the perfect amount. And this is feeling like another one of those games where he's right on that edge of making the play happen, of throwing 90% of his life bar away to find the kill, to set his team up for success. While Team Heretics have gotten that kill back with Stend in the mid lane, it's just not enough to overcome this kind of goal difference. Although now...
Wow. Even when they're face checking into them, it's hard for Team Heretics to really find anything. But yeah, if I'm Vitality, I really want to make this a strong, clean game to kind of separate myself from the middle of the pack. I think Vitality had the potential to be a top team, and they just haven't shown the consistency to really prove it yet.
And that's kind of the P word that's haunted Vitality for many years, right? Last year was a similar story. Yeah, potential.
Well, this time it's not a super team, at least.
That's true. But this is a project Mac talked about himself, right? This is a long-term project. It's not about the single year. It's about building up over time. And it's been building up pretty well. This split 3-4, obviously not a perfect record, but some impressive wins. And potentially another one to add to the list is Hylissang, all on his lonesome, will make it out. Just the Hex Slash from Stend. Not too much burned.
Yeah, and this is a big part and power of the Rakan. It's just the fact that you can get vision deep everywhere on the map because you have so much safety with the W and the E that just allows you to go everywhere, and I think it suits Hylissang's playstyle so well.
I think generally it might be time to bring back the era of don't let EU supports play Rakan.
He took the boom off.
Well played.
Well played to him.
In the mental game, Carlsen is winning right now.
Yeah.
The small edge.
The real game, however.
In the real game, however, they are 4,000 gold behind, yes.
But speaking of development, I think this Heretics roster is also all about that.
They need time.
They have 3 rookies coming in. Kamiloo straight from 2nd division. He'd never before done. And overall, I think they're an exciting roster to kind of believe in the long term, I think. I think Sheo, Flakked is a good roster, like good core to build around. And so far, from what I've seen from Stend, has been really good. Kamiloo and Carlsen could use some work in certain areas.
I mean,
but
they have
had really good games
sure,
and rough games, which I think is normal when you're coming in. I think for a lot of them, you can say it's maybe too early, but it's like if they can then adapt from that, like if they show, for me, it's like even if they have kind of a bad winter, if they now practice over the whole course of that like off-season, like I remember Machuki said, if they lose and they don't make playoffs, nobody's leaving Berlin. You know, they're staying here to practice all until spring starts. So for me, it's more about like, how does this roster develop throughout the year? When they keep playing together, keep trusting in each other, and keep improving.
It's a good question. Long-term project, obviously tough for fans who want to see results immediately. But again, 2 teams where we're hearing a lot of trust the process.
Yeah, but I also think the fact that Heretics wins have been when they're behind shows that they have a great mentality. And I think that's really, really valuable when it comes to kind of being this underdog. Yeah. Because if you're able to not tilt and not get emotional and just kind of be in the moment always, it makes it so much easier to actually improve as a player when you're worse than the opposition.
Yeah, that time to develop, that time to grow. And you highlighted it, right? It's why so many of our teams step away for Korean boot camps to scrim LCK or LPL teams that glow up when you're playing against that higher caliber competition. Just need more time to practice.
It's good to be the Atakan here, however. Hopefully, Team Heretics really wants to try to find some poke.
Celestial opposition down on Hilly. Stend trying to find the angle, but Czajek waiting over the wall. Flank.
Nako
really
is just running it down with this Herald on mid lane.
They're just gonna what?
They're just gonna reset the Atakan.
Okay, Herald probably gonna just get deleted here.
Oh, Hilly has a flank.
I imagine we see the all-in. Team Heretics slowly being pushed off. They have to be careful. Kamiloo doesn't really have a good way to heal up any of this damage. It is IE next, though, so you can be happy about that at the very least. And he has crossed the execution threshold. And again, Atakan shreds resistances. It does not look like this objective does a lot of damage. I don't think that it does, but what it will do is make everything your enemy throws at you hit like a truck.
Sheo gets really poked out. This looks very, very difficult for Team Heretics here. They're trying, but Stend's on a flank. And he has flash.
And for
Carzzy might be caught.
Q, Carzzy called in, is able to valk away.
Sheo's ulting.
Taliyah, trying to zone off a couple of members. Public execution not going to connect. Ambessa ult dodge, but still manages to get a little bit more back in return. Team Heretics finding the kill. Otacon about to fall. 2K getting lower.
Carlsen?
Can they get it? Carlsen tries to make it happen, but it's not enough. Now Czajek is chasing. Kamiloo running. Flakked running. 80 carries being chased down by Hylissang.
And it looks so hard for Team Heretics. They're trying their damnedest, but it's going to be the Atakan for Vitality. And they can take the tier 2 with this. And Corki sent back to base, and he can push mid, and maybe we can get the tier 2 mid. This game is just continuously getting...
That might have been the backbreaker. Yeah, I just don't think that when you fall behind, you talked about with this poke composition, against a team that has, in the Corki and the Zyra at least, comparable range in a lot of scenarios, it's just so hard to play these fights.
Yeah, and you can see this ulti from Sheo just screams desperation. He just knows they need to try something, if anything. And luckily the Nako ult doesn't land, but he still just gets blown up by the Ambessa, and they're not even able to kill Carzzy.
And the thing is, he started that fight at 40%, 30% HP.
And Carlsen tries to, I think, wants to flash onto Carzzy, but Hilly actually does a great job at charming him up, so he doesn't get to Corki before they've actually already slain the Atakan. So he doesn't collect that shutdown onto the Corki.
And you can see, there's damage happening. The Smolder, the Varus are hitting.
But the jungle differential. This Zyra has such an easy time just poking it down while this Taliyah gets hit by one Ambessa ult, she's dead. One Zyra E, she's dead. One Yone ult, she's dead.
And I think it's a bit awkward because oftentimes when we've seen Taliyah be good, it's with you know, some sort of kill combo or setup, and that just isn't really present in this roster. Maybe with the Rell, you could say. But oftentimes when we talk about Taliyah as a mid laner, right, it's all about the Vi combo or some sort of, you know, hard CC combination. And you just don't have that for Sheo, which means that the champion who can spawn little plants that poke you just feels so much better in the vast majority of circumstances.
Yeah, Zyra requires a lot less setup. Typically when we see the Taliyah, I'd really like to see maybe like a Nautilus or the Vi in Taliyah mid, but you can see
the poke.
She's dead.
Sheo buys a bit more time with the Seekers. Rocket timing a bit off from Carzzy, denies that kill. Hylissang still chasing. Quick. A lot of the CC. Carlsen wants to send it back. It doesn't matter. It's just the false life.
Okay, fair enough. Hilly going a bit crazy. Oh, Czajek.
Czajek flash though. He's committed to holding on to that buff.
Smolder is stacking up, and he has had 2.5 items. He's actually only down 400 gold.
It's the new contrast. Smolder.
Yeah, in contrast to the rest of his team, he's not doing too bad. I do think once he gets the rapid fire, his game will be a lot easier to play. But can Smolder like 1v9 this game? Because that's kind of what he has to do.
That's really
it's a tall
tough.
order.
Yeah, that's a really, I don't know is the answer.
Oh,
no
really?
would be my assumption, but we've seen crazier things happen in our league.
The biggest saving grace that Team Heretics has is the fact that they only have 2 Drakes on the side, no, 3 Drakes on the side of Vitality, and it's a Chemtech soul in 4 minutes, which isn't the most impactful. You could just drop it, and you can still take, like, you can still easily win the game. Like Chemtech soul, when your champions are this squishy, is pretty useless.
Good to have. Although
it's good to have, but it's not the end of the world to give.
It does make Czajek and Nako very scary, is what I will say. But it's certainly better than any of the other Dragon-based alternatives, as Flakked has now been caught out. Public Execution does not hit!
Nice sidestep there.
Pixels off!
But Hilly's on a crazy flank.
Can they keep poking him?
Can they run him down?
Ulti.
No W.
Hylissang W's out.
But Nako can give him. I think Heretics is in trouble here.
Using that ult does hurt. Hylissang just manages to walk away. He created a lot of space for his team to walk into enemy jungle for free.
Yeah, I was thinking there maybe they could collapse onto Team Heretics, but I think Hilly still had no W, or maybe just decided against it. And they're still in a great position here. They just want to get, like, push out this top wave, get full Nash control, and then just slowly choke out Team Heretics from entering. And that way they can just get the Nash for free, and that way they can break all the inhibs.
Okay, Kamiloo needs to be really careful.
Yeah, he might be caught out there.
This is Psycho. Why did he walk that far forward? Nako just going to chase. Smolder now in trouble. Kamiloo trying to flash out, but he might just go down in the meantime. Looks like Nako should drop, but healthy enough to walk away, and that is a big mistake.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You might have thought Kamiloo's just inting. Why would he do that? But he wants to stack. I get him. You know, it's so tempting when you're playing Smolder. You got the rapid fire. I mean, of course, it was horrendously bad, and this team might lose Nash. But I understand it.
Okay.
I've done it myself.
Empathetic. Walking up to the mid wave, a dangerous prospect when the rest of your team is not on the map. Fell for the trap.
That's a lot of damage.
But you highlight it. This team is very squishy. Ambessa flanking Sheo. Looks like he's playing more for the steal. Now they might play to collapse on the Ambessa because the rest of the team is forced to pull away. So while it is a bit awkward, ultimately the Nash is not taken.
Yeah, it's not too bad for Team Heretics after all. The fact that they're able to... Oh, Hilly's alone here.
Hoping, I think, maybe for...
But he is so mobile on this Rakan, and he's just everywhere. He can do whatever he wants.
He would have sat in that bush for a minute to wait for the next fight. And I think it probably would have been the right call, because the flank from Rakan at this point, I think, is the backbreaker for Team Heretics.
Yeah, he could sit in the bush for 1 minute, but I would like to see him recall for wards instead.
All right. Not very EU support-minded of you.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that they don't get that Nash, I think just means that the game is going to come down to this Drake. My question is, does Heretics want to fight it, or do they want to drop it? The advantage of dropping it is you don't need to fight. The downside is you will eventually need to fight around Nash, and they have now Soul.
Yeah, you're basically, will you trade 2 to 3 minutes more of time for a Chemtech Soul?
Yeah.
And it might be enough, but given that Kamiloo's already crossed the 225,
yeah, I don't think Smolder is going to get much
three
stronger.
items. Yeah, that's kind of the big break point, right? The stats still
I mean, he will get stronger, but it's not like he's not waiting for anything right now.
Yeah. I mean, now he's going defensive items, right? And I'm guessing maybe Seeker's next. GA I don't think is the... GA will feel better and be better in terms of stats, but I
think more like Randuin's or something. Or even Jack Sheo. I think Sonus is not that useful.
It's hard because you want lifesteal against the poke, and
yeah, I was hoping for VT. VT Forp, I think, is the best option, but Stend.
Just can't find an angle. Vision set up mid lane.
Carzzy also opted for the rapid fire third here to try to match some of this range from Team Heretics composition.
I mean, we are one good ulti from Flakked away from a pretty solid engage. The downside is the same is true of one good ulti from Czajek or Hylissang.
Or Nako.
Or Nako.
Or Lyncas E.
Pretty much one good ulti from Vitality should win the fight in their favor. Now they're using...
Vitality is choosing to go fully onto this Nash here and just starting it up. This could be risky.
Nako waiting over the wall, though. Last two public executions haven't connected. This one will, however. Kamiloo caught out, not going to be able to walk away. Just barely flapping over the wall.
Oh, Naak was playing this so
But
beautifully.
the Baron's down.
He absorbs pressure from all 5 of Team Heretics members and just allows his team to easily finish off this Nash, and now they can pivot it to Soul.
Yeah, I think that's it.
They don't even want the Soul. They're just going for
I think
turrets.
at this point, why? You said it, the Chemtech's not super valuable. They can get it on the way out. Why waste their time when they have their waves in a good position? Bot wave needs to be attended to. Top wave, mid wave, finally going to get answered here. Czajek doesn't have an additional member, so can't walk up, but we'll just knock down this tier 2 for free. They're grabbing the Drake in the meantime.
Yeah, Carzzy's going to finish off this Drake while he's alone, split pushing on bot. This is classic ADC. We always like the Drakes, you know?
Yeah. If we revert Smolder to OG Smolder,
yeah,
our team, Heretics, winning this game.
I mean, they could have certainly stole it for a very long time.
True, I forgot about the ulti. I was just thinking about the passive power on the Q.
Yeah, but also the Q, like the AoE damage on the Q was way more. So, yeah, they could maybe win.
Maybe.
But the problem is, I think, with the other 4 champions, not so much the Smolder.
It is very hard.
Maybe it was Jayce from Arcane.
Which episode? Which season is the better question. Season 1 Jayce, kind of useless. Hung out, got bribed, did not do much.
Bro, spoilers.
All right, sorry. It's my bad. Turret falling, Team Heretics getting split across the map. Really good use of 3 lanes of pressure from Vitality. Have to say, this is what you want to be doing if you want to close out cleanly. Don't give Team Heretics a chance to group as 5 and clear a wave.
Yeah, and this is a problem with the Team Heretics comp. You don't have any reliable sort of engage, so it's so easy for Vitality to just play these 3 lanes. They're going to get triple inhib, and they're going to try to end the game.
3 inhibs down. Final stand for Team Heretics. Baron empowered minions piling in. Kamiloo already losing half his health bar of the fight. There's not even a fight happening. They're just poking for free.
Nexus Star's already down.
Getting chunked out. There's just so many cannon minions. And plants. Oh, there's, yeah.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, they're getting grouped up. Czajek's looking for the angle.
They don't even need to fight them. Oh,
Going in. Stend tries to start something. Sheo immediately falling up to try to burn down Carzzy, but Carzzy still has a flash, and the rest of the base is just falling apart. Ulti in from Czajek. He can hit the base, but he wants to hit Kamiloo first. Takes the kill. Takes the game. Vitality clean from start to finish, giving almost nothing to Team Heretics.
This is a very clean, decisive win from Vitality, but I have to criticize Heretics a little bit. They did kind of nothing the whole game.
Yeah.
And I need to see more proactivity from this roster. I want to see drafting more engage and just allow for more fighting to happen.
It's something we'll have to see. Of course, in the meantime, at Twitter, or on X, excuse me, at LEC, key player of the game, Lyncas, Czajek, Hylissang. But they will have time. They have tomorrow to play, and of course a week off before we head into Fearless for all of our teams to develop, to grow. But Vitality on an upwards trajectory. A rough start to be sure, 4-4. Maybe not the cleanest record, but ultimately it's enough to get you into playoffs. It's enough to buy you more time. Show us more of what you can do. For now, though, we're going to head to a quick break. When we return, an interview with Hylissang and our 5th game of the day. Don't go anywhere.
He doesn't like that. Look at him, he's a good boy, but he don't like that.
Maybe we could play some A-rounds or something like that. I mean, it's a new map, right? New towers, new objectives.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Wait, is he switching lanes?